Hi, my name is Toyin C. I'm the director and founder of the Permaculture Project GTA, and we're here on site at our headquarters in the Victoria Park and Eglinton area.
Okay, can you show me some of this equipment?
Yeah, so what we have behind us, and thanks to local friends and some of our enterprise stacking, we're able to use tractors, a Kubota to bring dirt and soil on site. And a lot of our partners and active partners have really helped secure materials for us, like this compost pile and soil. We have sod here from when we were moved from the trees.
Sod?
We were doing sod, yeah, some pulling up the grass and some of the soil. That will mix and make into, nice soil that we can use in beds, but right now it's waiting. We've just done a plant of an orchard in the front, about 15 different trees, fruit trees and things like that. So this is coming out of the holes that we've dug. And then on this side, with our relationship with some of our other local partners, we have mulch en masse whenever we need. So this is just half or a quarter of a pile of mulch that we were able to secure. So some is here and some, the rest of it's kind of sprinkled around the city at some of our other sites.
So there's mulch, what's this called? Sod and
compost and soil in that.
And for those of us who might be naturally impaired, what do each of these things do?
So soil is our nutrient base. This is where the richness, it's the lifeblood of the garden. So we get a mix which is compost. It's usually manure mix that's been turned and it's sat and it's really been processed, and so it's broken down, but it's your vitamins, it's your rich material that we add to the soil, especially here in the urban setting where our soil is a lot more sandy or clayey. It's hard to grow things, food in here, especially the nutrients have, a lot of them been eroded, it's been washed or it's been completely packed. And then the mulch, that helps us keep moisture. We use mulch a lot in our gardens to raise the levels, to have a nice organic base so that there's different levels, almost a lasagna style of gardening. But mulch would be the top layer. Mulch helps us keep water, it helps us harvest water, and it helps keep the ground cool around plants.
It keeps squirrels out at all?
It helps to maintain the top layer of the soil from animals digging in it, but it's not the biggest preventative. It's interesting, some people will apply chicken wire and then put mulch on top of that, but for me, I don't mind animals in the garden, so just mulch is more of my keeping the plants moist and keeping everything happy.
And stuff pops up, like if you plant seeds in the dirt and then put mulch over it, stuff will pop out of the mulch?
Yeah, and actually I do a light sprinkling of mulch in the beginning so that when the things pop up, they're actually, it helps strengthen their stalks, helps strengthen their necks. And then I'll add a ring or a collar of mulch around it more, just to keep the water right in that area, especially if they're new and things like that.
Okay, that might explain why all my corn died this morning, because I don't have any mulch.
Well, mulch is great, but also if you put some nitrogen fixers underneath your corn, like corn really likes things like clover, or if you have a nice ground cover of maybe a mix of wild or edible strawberries, then you'll be able to kind of keep that moisture level on those larger plants that really need constant water. So some of the tricks that I tell people mentally are think that you're giving it a bath and you want it to soak, less that you're trying to give it a drink of water. You want that to stay there, that moisture to stay there for a long time.
For germination and to continue to bring nutrients to the seeds.
Exactly.
Okay, so I understand you have some stuff on the roof. Can you show us some of the long-term products?
For sure, let's head on up.
I can see the CN Tower down there.
Yep.
Very beautiful. So here we are on the roof.
Yeah, this is the roof. Big things, planning for this, but right now we're definitely going to start small and really just scale out when we have the ability. We're currently in transition, just bringing a lot of the materials that TPP and specifically myself have collected and held on to over the years, kind of our resource bank. Doing some retrofitting, just making sure that we have water sources.
Oh, this is new, eh?
This is new, yeah. Definitely just had that installed a couple weeks ago to just satisfy the water need. Our rain barrels, as many as we have up here, because we don't have eavesdrops, aren't harvesting the water that we need to quench the heat. I mean, this roof is easily 20 degrees hotter every day, and as things really start to heat up, we want to make sure we have all the water sources. But we're also going ahead and starting with our sub-irrigation planters. Not raised beds, but sub-irrigation planters to really just make sure that we're speaking to the water need, but also that we have some stuff growing up here. So right now you're looking at a lot of tomatoes, and small, cauliflowers.
Vegetables,
Vegetables, yeah.
Where are these going to go? Is this going to be sold, or is it going to be put in a food bank?
Well, right now, our immediate need, because we really like to have a garden wherever we are, is feeding us. So because we're here pretty much, especially myself, 24/7 around the clock, it's nice to have food available for us right here before we even start scaling it out into a larger garden. But we do have community members who have started to join us here on site to work in the gardens, to have a couple strawberries and things
Right.
that come out of it as things go along.
But long term, are you thinking about having like an alternative means of getting like local food for?
Yeah,
the
for sure,
community and-
for sure. So one of the things that TPP is going to definitely be facilitating is a local CSA, pulling in resources and pulling in some of our partners who already have CSAs running, but really satisfying and catering to the needs of this community here. And as you can see, we're surrounded by townhouses and communities, and on a couple of quick pass-bys, talking to some of the local residents, this is something that not only would they love, but they've actually been asking for. So
Wow.
it's the need I can already see is huge. But then, if we make a model here that supports us and then is scalable to support our surrounding community, then if you just look with me real quick at all the flat roof space right here. And with neighbors like Canadian Feed the Children and Habitat for Humanity, they're already knocking on the door to start setting them up with some of the volunteers that we've graduated through our leadership programs, to start speaking to them about more efficient ways to maybe engage youth in the area or to help them with the capacity they already have.
So this entire roof is eventually going to be green?
Oh yes, all the way down, and the concept that we've put together that will be showing the community during our August launch is that there's going to be plots for community members or partners of the organization, and as well as individuals who want to participate in this larger alliance, because then that means that many groups will be converging in this one spot, to have representations and demonstrations of what can happen in an urban setting, so that not only is this a great community garden, but it's also a research and development site for urban ag, but more specifically using permaculture charter, permaculture principles and ethics in order to get these things done.
What do you think some of the obstacles to for urban gardening have been, and why is it that it's such, like, it's happening in Toronto now,
Right.
but why hasn't it happened before on a large scale?
Well, I mean, a lot of this has been tried and it's just really suffered. I mean, 20 years ago, if you talk to a lot of the elders within our community, they tried this. They tried to do just this. They tried to bring materials up. They tried to build community centers. A lot of people, started developing co-ops. They started working on, these technologies, these sub-irrigations which come out of Montreal. So there was a boom. But the popularity of the current system and some of the myths that people have about the current system made it impossible for this to take precedence, and made it impossible for it to take precedence in a time when it was very crucial. Right now we're past the tipping point, and right now the obstacles, which I've spoken to in the past, aren't even obstacles. They're just challenges, and I love a challenge. And this is too important to ignore or neglect. So right now, if we can, let's legitimize this so that we're working on it full time, and that we have spaces like this, that we're not cramped in basements or begging people for spaces, allotment gardens, that we actually have a space to, push this forward and, do it here.
Do you think it's like the long-term idea is also with the price of oil going up? At such a, we're reaching towards the point where we're going to reach peak oil.
Oh, yeah.
And the price of food, much of which we import, if not even from another country, then from, the farmland north of Toronto.
Totally.
How expensive is that going to be, especially for families who are living paycheck to paycheck?
Well, exponentially, and you can see the inflation that happens already in some of the areas we call third world. That
quote unquote,
and to be honest, we're past peak. We're actually at the other side. We're in the decline of this current system, and the decline of this current system, because unfortunately, with the privilege that Toronto and the GTA has, is that we have a buffer. We don't feel it immediately. Our neighbors and individuals who live in Scarborough, who live in these food deserts, have been feeling it for years. years, and have been begging and trying to get the word out to the larger community. So expensive for individuals is, you know, the least of the problems when you talk about all the different compromises and repercussions of what's happening. I'm talking social degradation, infrastructure breaking down, let alone the inflation of just regular things that we need in order to survive. So it's huge. It's quite big. But what's scarier still is what happens when everything collapses and we don't have the skill set to survive on our own. You know, then we're going to see individuals really getting scared, and on a scared level that we haven't recognized yet. You know, and so let's speak to these issues now before we're sitting there with present day saying it's a shame we didn't act when we had the opportunity.
Is there a website or anything people can go to who are watching
Yeah,
this?
for sure. I mean, the Permaculture Project GTA is our website, and you can find us. But if you Google Permaculture Toronto, you can find us as well. And we're, you know, really encouraging people not only to come out, but to recognize that we are carving out paid positions for individuals to be able to do this on full time. And as an organization, with all the training, all the modules, and all the education and learning opportunities that we've either taken or offering, we're looking at the compromises and the issues, and we're addressing them so that people can come on and enjoy this work, so that we have a social charter that we can uphold, and so that the rewards are not just monetary, but they're ecological, they're social, and they're spiritual.
Okay, thanks a lot. This is corn right here. Very hard to grow. I had at home in the York University area, I had a whole bunch of corn growing. Half of it was dead by noon today. Just burned, it's scorched in the sun today. You gotta really know what you're doing. You gotta really study this stuff to know what grows in what condition, what kind of soil you got, how moist it is, what time of day you water it. It's a lot of work, a lot of research. But you're going to make mistakes the first time, and that's how you learn.